period after the whole how his time at ENCE ended.
True.
I think we've all kind of felt really bad about that. Well, now he gets a chance to prove everything. Now we get to see what he's made of as an in-game leader with a roster that has an incredible amount of skill that he has never had surrounding him in his previous lineups. Here we are, Nuke, best of one to start Blast Premier 2022.
Yeah, it doesn't really get better than this, does it, if you're Alexi? G2 going to be starting on the T side with Complexity on the CT side. And you're right, it is a best of one. So a lot of pressure to begin with means even the first round here is going to make a huge difference. And it's going to be pretty explosive from the looks of it. Coming out of the squeak door, Molotoving the corner, and smoking of Mini as fast as they can. It's Jax to open up the season with a kill on Junior, and Grim. Oh no, they stuck on top of each other, and Grim, he will get a quick triple, and that really should be the round. Alexi on his own, just a Glock in his hand, and he'll take down Grim for a 1 versus 2 now.
Yeah, but man, Grim did everything there. That round was busted. A lot of mistakes, small mistakes, 2 of them right in the pistol round from the Complexity players, and Grim was there just with talent to recover the situation. So Alexi's got plenty of time, just under a minute remaining in the round, although this is going to eat a lot of time off the clock walking around outside. Floppy and JT to defend. They've got the bomb down in the upper bomb site.
These are the kind of rounds that are winnable, right? When you're in a pistol round especially. You've got the health for it. It's 40 seconds is obviously, that's really the problem.
Problem is the range and no armor as well. Like if he doesn't get an immediate gush with his Glock, he's in a lot of trouble. 30 seconds now on the clock, and Floppy up in the rafters, ready and waiting. He's got the tag, they have the information, and what do you do now? Ooh, look at those Stretch Armstrong arms.
Yep, he has some real long fingers on that one.
Go gadget arms.
Perfect. The new upgrade, the new patch coming out. All right, it didn't quite work out for him in the end. Grim coming up with the hero play in this particular round. Good to see. Obviously, a player that I think, you know, for good reason was talked a lot about when he joined Liquid. I think Grim is a really good player, but his time in Liquid was a bit confusing. I thought at the end of the year, he just started playing significantly better. I want to see that continue.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm sure Grim kind of wants to put that chapter behind him. It was a hard situation to come in on a team that kind of had some of their own struggles among the veterans. Never really able to find comfort in any footing for Grim, but it was always obvious the talent he had. It's the rest of the game. It's adapting to the higher level that he kind of struggled with more than anything. Regardless, he's certainly going to be one of the big names along with Floppy in terms of riflers on this team. 1-0 for Complexity, and this looks like it should be a relatively, I was going to say easy round, but JT eats a deagle shot.
Yeah, good shot from Jax. Interesting stuff. We've got to stay on the lineup as well. That's in itself an interesting conversation. I quite like Jax, so I'm on board with it. Fang, probably one of the more unknown players, at least in compared to the rest of them here on the team. But definitely, I'm sure a name that we're going to be more familiar with even at the start of the year here. We'll see. 50 seconds left. 4 versus 3 right now. And they're still hanging around in the ramp room. Not really sure where they want to go right now.
Yeah, but this is kind of cool. You leave m0NESY here. You give him a chance to just kind of chill. Maybe you catch someone rotating unawares. You put him in a position where he can kind of make his own decisions on when to activate himself based off the contact his teammates are making. And he's just hoping to punish Fang if he tries to rotate up towards Heaven. Still going to be very tough. You need Jax or Hunter to provide you an opening, a kill to get some movement in this defense, and Floppy's going to peek right into it. There it is. That's perfect. Now Fang is put into action. Oh, and he just missed the timing. This is dangerous for Complexity. 2 players in the lower bomb site.
Yeah, that is really scary. Only 10 seconds left, but they're going to get a chance to get the bomb plant down already. Such a great turnaround in this round if you're on the side of G2. Almost a chance there for Jax to find another kill. Oh, and actually somehow m0NESY able to take down Fang. You would have thought at that range the M4 would have won that fight every single time, but now instead Grim and Junior on their own trying to walk in. It's a massive crossfire, and they're never going to make it through. So G2 will end up winning the second round. That is a swift comeback.
Yeah, that's a good find. Obviously, a great lurk from m0NESY. Very, very patient, and a few things just go the way of G2. The timing on Fang missing m0NESY, kind of making his play up the ladder. But still, just like we saw in the pistol round, some mistakes coming out from the Complexity side, and this time Grim's not there to be able to turn the round in their favor regardless.
A really excellent slowdown. You mentioned it when it was happening, but that's something that can be hard to do, and maybe especially in rounds that are almost kind of throwaway rounds, but you don't have that much, and but you call that, you know, slow it down, walk back, and see if we can't win this 3-on-3.
We'll have to keep our eyes when the gun rounds come out from Complexity. That round, it felt like a little bit of like a misallocation of personnel. 2 players kind of watching the vent drop towards the lower site and just way out of position to be able to hold anything off. So Complexity's back to just pistols, 1-1.
Junior out here. Not quite ranged for the one-shot headshot here with the P250 since it's changed, but it will be enough anyway to take down Nico. So not a bad start. And I would have expected Nico to watch for all of that, but I guess he was looking for the sniper spot instead up at Heaven. JT's down here with the Deagle. Be interesting. Obviously, since that got changed, the sort of the spam body shots that come out don't have quite the same impact. And I actually think in terms of Deagle use, it has made a pretty big impact on the game. Don't see it to the same extent, but obviously still a powerful weapon. 45 seconds, and they're all downstairs.
Complexity's cleared out lobby. They know exactly what's coming. Turn from the flashbang, gets a tag. Oh, that needed to be a completed kill. That could have been everything, but Grim's in position. I don't know if they heard those footsteps. If they can bait for him just enough, Grim is going to have an opportunity to turn the tide. Still waiting in dark. Waiting for his moment. Hunter just above him. Hasn't spotted anything just yet. There's the plant. Grim's gonna start peeking, and he stops it. He slows it down, puts the M4 in play on Fang. Into a one-on-one we go, and Junior has 15 seconds to play a stone-cold clutch against Alexi.
This is gonna be tricky. 10 seconds. He fakes it once, and he probably can't really fake it again. He swings from, oh, there's the head, and he finally spots him. Now he has to duck down low, stay out of the line of sight, and he gets the headshot. Absolutely brilliant play at the end there. Alexi, he was maybe half a second too late in spotting that face up there.
Yeah.
A lot to watch for, but that's a massive play. And again, all of that was really set up by Grim, who was hiding for the longest time down there and got the kill on the guy planting the bomb.
Yeah, this is just like a grinded out round from Complexity. It's just like you can see everyone, it's just 1-for-1 trades across the board. Bodies coming in with each kill. And I mean, still requires, all things considered, still requires a stunning shot from Junior to actually win the round.
It does.
Well done from Complexity. So back and forth rounds so far to start the group stage for these brand new rosters. And I mean, with these brand new rosters, you're going to see sometimes this kind of exchange back and forth, a little bit of maybe disorganization, a few miscues that are allowing these rounds to be converted.
Yeah, I mean, this is another thing that I think we didn't even really touch on, but with all of these roster changes, think about what it does to the map pool and your ability to have a really good sense of what even is a good map for some of these teams right now. That's going to be very hard to know. And best of ones on Nuke are just, I mean, traditionally something people have tried to probably gravitate away from, but not today.
I mean, there's going to be some sloppiness too, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, just naturally, as you're trying to acclimate yourself to new teammates and new ideas and new ways of playing, especially when you bring in a new in-game leader and a new coach on the side of the G2 team. A lot of conflicting philosophies, I imagine, that need to get ironed out. 5-on-4 for Complexity, opening kill in their favor. And down to the lower bomb site we go. Fang to defend. Oh, what a great entrance from Jax. Immediate headshot. And the bomb site is open for business.
Gemini runs right into JT, who was preoccupied looking down onto the lower part of the bomb site. Jax, I feel like that is actually probably a classic view of both the strength and weaknesses of Jax some of the time. It's like getting that opening, getting the follow-up, and he wants to keep going, and he's very excited about it, but probably could have just kept it cool there and played a 4-on-3. This retake, though, they do have kits. This is dangerous right now if you're Complexity. Super dangerous. They're going to go for it. They're committed to it now, and they could lose everything in this retake, and they will. Tech9 kill from Hunter, and Nico will take down Junior. And there was a moment there where it even looked like they were thinking, is this do we just give up this round?
Yeah, I mean, I think that probably would have been, you know, maybe perhaps especially this early in the game on your CT side when it's been so back and forth, that probably would have been the smarter call. But especially on a round like this where you know they have kind of a half buy, it's tough to really commit to that decision. And they get punished for it. Yeah, I mean, strength and weakness in terms of Jackson, you're right, probably could have held back after that second kill, but also think of the information even in that failure it provides to his teammate.
Yeah,
he's like,
true.
The next guy that's gonna make contact with you is like halfway down ramp. Like, you guys are cool. Like, get into position, get that bomb down. You've got a lot of safety.
Yeah, that is a good point. Alexi almost looked like he could have spotted Floppy up there. Haven't got to say Floppy's name too much, but again, he's a powerhouse all on his own. And I think a lot of people have looked forward to seeing Floppy play on his lineup.
Of all the North American players that I guess like kind of like went and flirted with Valorant, I think he was one of the more painful ones.
Yeah.
Floppy. And I think that I don't. You know, I haven't spoken to him about it. I imagine that was more of like a, partially at least, a contract situation with Cloud9.
Could have been, yeah, could have been, yeah.
But that was one I think where everyone has kind of seen the potential of Floppy in that Cloud9 lineup that didn't pan out, and even in some of his previous performances, it's just like, please don't lose him.
And we brought him back.
That was how was going on in my head.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. Under 50 seconds, they went down, and now they're back up into the yard. Junior, not impressed by the flashbang, but he does have the deagle in hand, ready. Hunter is looking the right way. He's got the right idea. Almost walks into it, but now he's ducked under and could just sort of slide up in front. And now Junior's aim is going to be wildly off, but maybe he can still find Jax. No, that they're actually all ducking under him. That's incredible. 20 seconds, though, is a big problem right now.
Not anymore. 3 kills going the way of G2, right as you say that. Floppy and Grim, the last ones, the upper defenders.
I take it all back. It's not a problem at all.
Yep.
Man.
But, I mean, it could have been.
On a map like Nuke, to leave it down to 6 seconds, there are so many angles to clear. If someone's hiding, fair enough. They made it work, and they haven't lost anyone yet. So.
Well, we already saw him get punished by the time trying to plant that bomb as the time dwindles down. So G2 finally string a couple together. They take a 1-round lead, and they take the economic advantage as well. No money left for Complexity's defense, so they'll have to back away. Junior's got 1100. He's trying to make sure he can have that AWP in the next gun round. Couldn't shoot him from Odyssey. We haven't had to say his name too much. Didn't really touch on him. I figured, saw the excitement and all the hype around him being picked up by this G2 roster. I feel like we've all heard a lot about him in the recent days and months.
Yeah, and I think for good reason. So yeah, I kind of agree. The only thing that people really say is, okay, but what about it at this absolute top level? How will that be? Which I think is not even really a point of criticism. I think it's probably more just a sort of, it's just an interesting thing to think about, you know? But he certainly does have the skills. 6th round, and you're right, the money, I mean, this comes back to that previous round where they wanted to go for the retake in that 3-on-3 even after the bomb was down, with Jax got the double opening. This is now where, you know, if they could have saved a couple of FAMAS and an M4, they could have continued to be more dangerous. Now it's going to be G2 probably taking a further lead here. All right, Nico. He is playing very similar to what he did in the former G2 lineup, which I guess is not surprising, but this kind of aggression out in the yard and just taking the fight with whoever is out there, that's pretty much what he did.
I don't think he's going to be too committed here either. He knows what he's up against. He knows it's going to be, what, the one save deagle on Floppy and most of the USPs, so he might want to chill a little bit. This is a trap set up by Complexity. There's the flashbang. It's just Nico. How many can he get? There's the first. Actually, nobody really pushing up behind Fang either. So they threw the flashbang. They had 5 players out here, and Nico's able to just kind of survive and chill with 18 HP behind Redbox.
Yeah, and he had, I think, a little bit of backup from the high ground here in Hunter. So, yeah, you're right. They probably, once that flashbang is out, just keep going, right?
Yeah, that's kind of your play.
That's the round.
That's your one gambit you got.
All right. They got the headshot as well from Floppy there, finally. And Hunter was in a desperate situation trying to get out, but I don't know, he's being held back by the bullets. That is one of the worst feelings, isn't it? You just cannot escape.
And you just keep getting tagged and
slows you down way too much. Junior, 1 versus 3. Would love to pick up a deagle or really anything. Yeah, well,
get you one.
He got the deagles. Can't really do anything more than that. So it will be, what, 4-2 now in favor of G2. It's a pretty decent start. And again, the pressure, it just hits you differently when you're playing those best of ones. You don't have the luxury of saying, oh, okay, well, at least, you know, stand map pick. We can always try a second one. All the rest of it. It's Graham in the background, isn't it?
It is. It's got that nice little ponytail.
Yeah, he's adopted the Viking lifestyle.
Powerful ponytail.
Yeah.
I think they call them man buns now.
Possibly. I wouldn't know. Speaking...
I wouldn't either.
We're not the right people to really comment on this, are we? There's more to see with the AWP. That's something that we're looking forward to all the time. And Junior, he will feel the wrath of that sniper. Now, 7th round, and another good start here for G2.
And that's a tough loss to take in this kind of a round, too. I mean, this is the first gun round, really, that we're seeing played between these two teams of kind of, you know, decent amount of economy. But just look at the nades for Complexity. They haven't really established anything. They didn't really even have a full buy due to the back and forth nature of how this map began. So now you've lost your Opper, you've lost outside control. Modesty's got another one. That's Grim peeking up from the stairs. That's Nico coming through the smoke and finding a double. And it looks oh so easy for G2. Just snowballs out of control after the opening kill for Modesty.
And I think Grim actually got a Molotov thrown onto him. Then he had a choice to run back
or forward.
Yeah, and he just kind of, you know, probably wanted to make a play. Which actually, speaking of which, it is important to have playmakers on a team, and Jax is obviously one of them for G2. I mean, we've seen that already, and then just from personality and his style, I think it's fair to say that he's going to be one of those players. All right, Floppy trying to... Who's going to be it for Complexity, I wonder? Who's going to be the person that can sort of, you know, shake up around a little bit?
I think, I mean, the first name that comes to mind for me would be Floppy.
Yeah.
I view Grim, I mean, maybe it's just because how he used him. Maybe he can add a few more wrinkles to his game, but is more of like a solid anchor type. And obviously Junior with the AWP. You never know how dynamic we've seen him get at various points throughout his career. But this is some good shooting from Odyssey to start the game. First round with the op, and yeah, Junior gets a little bit punished. 3-round lead for G2.
And another return to the terrible economy for Complexity. So yeah, but this is turning into a little bit of a rougher start than you'd like to see.
You have to remember too, though, this Complexity team is like kind of like starting with a blank slate. Like none of these guys have really established themselves, even as individuals, at like the pro top level. And certainly none of them have been on a team that has established itself at a pro top level. The closest would be Grim with Team Liquid. The G2, all these guys on this team have been playing, except for Monacy, obviously, but have a little bit of like a groundwork, have a little bit of a foundation, like a shared foundation to work on, and kind of, you get to start a few steps ahead, right?
Yeah, I think that it is a huge difference, there's no doubt. And even if G2 has changed a lot, there is still a foundation, there's no doubt, to build something on. So we'll see. Complexity. It's early days. Floppy with another deal kill. I found Jax, so it's a 4-on-4 here as Grim. And they were actually not a bad place to try and get that kill on Hunter. He's out in the open, he can't easily escape. Didn't quite land the shot this time around. Fang going down, and Junior and Floppy are on their own now. Don't know if there's much they can do. G2 are so measured in these rounds. There's really not a lot of panic. I mean, not that there necessarily needs to be, but they're not even in a hurry to get the bomb down. They're really taking their time.
Ooh.
Okay.
1v3. No real chance at winning. Can't even find a second. Not even a clean fight for the next kill. And G2 is on fire. 5 straight in a 6-2 lead.
The things are just looking really good right now. There's no doubt. Monacy, 11-3. Just casually a real good start. That's obviously something that is probably impossible to predict at this point, but we've seen so many games with Nico being the main engine. Sometimes almost the only engine, it feels like, on G2 to win some of these rounds. It's interesting to see if Monacy will take space away from Nico or just complement him nicely.
Ooh.
That actually was a good prediction from Nico, but Junior shooting through the box and landing right in his forehead.
Respect, going back for the aggressive play after getting picked off. And obviously, you have to think that's part of the game plan that Complexity talked about before this is, look, we got to find some way to make sure that Nico just can't run willy-nilly outside whenever he wants.
Yeah.
We have to be able to put a stop to him. We have to make him feel some pressure and feel nervous about making those plays outside, like we're going to be prepared for him. And that's probably the first time they've really accomplished it. 3-man stack outside now. Fang is ready, Junior's there with the op, and Grim obviously up close to the left. This is going to be really dangerous for G2 to re-aggress into this position.
Yes, it will be. But also Complexity, they can't really stay here forever, can they? There's no one holding the ramp, so it looks like it actually might be the right call at the moment. Grim, he sees the shadow on the ground, and he's going to be able to pick up the kill on Hunter. It's a swift return from Jax, but they line up. Oh, he gets the headshot anyway to take down Junior. What a scary position there. They could have been wiped out by that AWP, but instead now, it's a 3-on-3, and JT is on his own back here. And he's had a bit of a rough start to this game. He's 1-7 so far. Sees them coming in, tries to set up for the flashbang, and it actually works, but he's not quite quick enough. Floppy is there to help him out. And maybe JT bought enough time. It's Fang to end it. And it will be another round finally for Complexity.
That should have been much cleaner, it feels, for Complexity. They got everything they wanted. They had the trap on Nico, they got that pick, and then they had everything perfectly set up after the fact and couldn't convert. And there's actually a world. Complexity rotated 2 players down. They were convinced G2 was going to use that wall to go down secret to the lower bomb site. Almost completely fooled. Good rotation from Floppy up the vents. Good job from JT inside the bomb site, just delaying as long as possible. But Complexity probably gets away with one there. 6-3. Junior again, a little bit aggressive with the op, a new position to peek into. Molotov is going to force him away.
This is where they really need the comeback and the turnaround. Oh, and that is a nice vent dive and even a better turnaround for Alexi. Junior, you could almost feel like he had that sense that this is dangerous and I probably shouldn't be doing this, but it didn't quite catch up to him in time. And now Grim and Floppy at least on a bit of a return here, and with damage on Monacy, this actually could be a real interesting round. Complexity need this round really badly.
Yeah, real badly. Good kill from Fang. And Alexi B continues to be a menace around the smoke. First using it to drop in events for the opening kill. This one finding Grim, who wasn't expecting the angle. So we slowed things down. Jax and Alexi B, 2 versus 3. Jax is outside. Alexi is over towards the squeaky door, and oh, a missed opportunity. That looked pretty clean, all things considered. And unfortunately, the kill just not converted.
Yeah, very important. I mean, good that Floppy was able to react quickly, because if he goes down out there, the round is right back in play from G2's point of view. Now instead, Alexi getting shot at the back, and it will be another round. 4-6 now. Complexity starting to climb back into the game a little bit more.
Yeah, this is a really nice recovery for Complexity. Putting these 2 rounds straight, keeping them within striking distance, and we're going to get our first time out of the opening map. A lot of emphasis outside in these past 2 or 3 rounds for Complexity. I wonder what the call is going to be from G2, if they're starting to sense and they're starting to notice that there's a few more bodies outside than they're normally used to.
Like you said, it's kind of a blank slate from Complexity. So if you had to write down some notes, what we're learning so far is that they at least in a couple of rounds here have the capacity to change how they play outside and actually sort of realize that if we give so much space to G2, it's a problem. So it's a small change, but it's good to see, right?
Yeah, it is good to see. Well, now you get out of this timeout, you're going to get the mind game. This is exactly how are both of these teams going to approach the problems that they've been having. 6-4, still in the favor of G2, but that's dwindled pretty quick. Full buy for both teams. Plenty of nades, everything they could possibly want.
Money for G2, not that good either. So they probably kind of need this round 2. Entry for Alexi.
Oh.
That's a huge kill, and he nearly got Grim as well. But now let's see, can he return? It's absolute madness inside of the smoke. I don't think anyone could even see anything that's happening. That nade, though, you don't actually need to see who you're throwing it at for it to be effective.
You've done great damage, but everyone from Complexity is out of position. Yeah, there's no one even close to the slower bomb site, and GG doesn't realize it quite yet. It's going to be a free plant, and it's going to be a real struggle to even get into comfortable retake positions.
Especially if you have to fight around secret and lobby before you could even do the retake to begin with. So, yeah, I don't think they know. They don't even realize. Well, they're going to realize now.
Actually,
down.
This might actually work out perfectly. They've somehow found a weird timing and a weird gap to get down here. Monacy's the only one actually in the lower bomb site. This turned into a huge issue for G2, and it turned into a huge round loss. Complexity given a bit of a gift. There's no way Nico stops this, surely.
No, he's out of position, and the smoke is over top. He had the right idea, but he's going to go down. I assumed, because they were 2 people in lobby, that one would be holding hut and another one be holding squeak door and vent, and it seemed like they just let them slip past.
The decision from Grim and I think it was Fang, the other player in towards Mini, to just kind of bail out of these fights and go immediately to the secret stairs and downstairs, that's the winning call. And I don't even think they realized how perfect of a call it was at the time. Just a little bit of fortune and a little bit of lady luck going their way.
Yeah, that was amazing. Really, that looked like a lost round. So,
and perhaps a miscue from G2. We probably don't see those kind of miscues too much moving forward for G2 when they start feeling a bit more comfortable with themselves.
Oh, comes to the smoke and takes down Floppy and Junior both. That is... You talked about the mind game of playing outside, and they're sort of saying, okay, we're not going to just send Nico fighting, we're going to set up the wall and go down, and then instead it actually is Nico fighting, just through the wall instead.
It's kind of interesting. These last 2 rounds from G2 really opened up with players. I mean, you saw towards the upper bomb side out Squeaky, Alexi inside the smoke, set up with a pop flash from T-Roof. This round, it's kind of Nico coming through that smoke with a pop flash so we can come through and get a clean fight. So those opening attempts from G2 with that stylistic choice are very, very effective. And again, complexity, 3 players out of position, and I think you got to save this one.
Yeah, you probably do need to. You're, again, just so far out of position, and this time also a man down. So 1 AK-47 to basically open and win the round at the same time. That is incredible, and it will get them 7 rounds on the board.
Who are you giving credit to in that round, Anders? Alexi B or Nico?
I actually think this is just...
I know, you brought it up earlier. I just wanted to check. Is Alexi for calling it? Is it Nico for just killing everything? It's gonna be Nico. Okay. I'm on the Nico train a lot. Just to highlight that part, because we did talk about it earlier with Nexa, versus LXAB, and I still think the problem is from the outside judging what is a good call and what is just Nico winning rounds is just, you have to you just almost look through the filter of Nico winning absurd rounds sometimes. It's very hard to figure out, well, how much of this was pre-planned and how much of this is just like this sort of stuff. Obviously. Is part of the plan, I think, but it's just I don't know who to give the... I mean, I would give it to Nico, but I think eventually when you do that, you're going to end up undervaluing whoever the in-game leader is. Yeah.
No matter what, so we're sorry about that.
Boomich is over there nodding his head.
Yeah, I mean, similar if worse, basically. Oh, Alexi, find Grim. Again, through the smoke, make his way downstairs. This time, at least, they have Fang down here, and that's maybe their big hope right here, Complexity, in saving this round. Alexi's done a pretty good job over at Squeaky Door, things considered. I think I've seen like 3 or 4 like really good rounds for him from that position, especially at the opening. He's picked off Grim first. Oh, got another one as Fang rotates in. Yep, and he's just it's also it sucks having a T in that position, getting an opening kill, and one's gone down vents. It's like a pressure point that is just so painful as the round goes on, and especially when you get down that early, you have so much time to be that player, be a nuisance, and to just be a presence in your opponent's brain. Yep, and eventually Fang kind of caved to it there. Interesting kill on Nico through the smoke. JT able to pick him up. 50 seconds though now. Junior and JT and Floppy, 3 versus 4 in this round. Absolutely critical round once again for Complexity. They've had their backs economically to the wall pretty much the entire first half so far, and they just need to keep these rifles alive, and they probably more than anything need to win the round here. JT, oh, this is so scary. When you're walking through the bomb site like this, and you're out in the open, you get caught here, you just have to win the fight immediately, and Jax, he's going to have the advantage. Good kill, though, and Floppy, he's quick to turn around. That actually is a neat example of his understanding and his sort of built-in mechanics, but it's not enough to get the kill, and it will be Junior. Just 1 versus 3 to try and save the AWP here. Or he could have shot through the ceiling. Or he could have, yeah. I know you like this. For a 1 in a billion. Yeah, but if you get it... Everyone's excited. Yeah. Did you know that by far and away the majority of our Bobcats are not called Bob at all? Okay. You realize? The majority of Bobcats are not called Bob at all. Yeah. I feel like there's a fact. I feel like there's like a riddle. There's like a word game that I'm missing out on. What's the punchline, Anders? Way too high expectations. Way too high. We're just starting the year, Jason. I'm just trying to keep the people informed, you know. Jesus. Well, round 14. Pistols for the Complexity defense. Stuck on just 5 rounds. Ooh, that flick is almost there. It's quick. And there's a trap that's been set up in ramp, which, again, is probably you'd expect for G2 to try and be really careful of stuff like this in a round. They can guess the economy, so they know what they're up against. Yeah, no reason to commit to like a call too early in the round. You still got plenty of time to investigate. So m0NESY's gonna readjust across the map. Goes from ramp room outside to the silo. Ooh. There's nerves getting into him. I don't know. It's just always funny when I mean, this is... The funny ones are really on Mirage, where you're jumping in and out of the window and you mess that up. That's always more entertaining. Well, it is a classic execute on the A-bomb side. Now, they're not executing against anyone, but you see all the same Molotov.
It looked great, though.
Yeah,
it looked beautiful. Well-oiled machine.
They can be proud of that one. JT, nice shot. And Nico is back with a Krieg in hand, and he actually drops really low. Should not really be a winnable round here for Complexity, but maybe they could steal a rifle or two. That would be huge.
Yeah, that would be nice right at the end here. Although the economy isn't too much of an impact, obviously, going into round number 15. I think Complexity is going to be fine either way. Grim, just waiting. Hoping to get something on the exits. There's Nico. Oh, dear. Hate to see that. Tag. Somehow, Nico is still alive. 9th round on the board for G2. Not even the bomb can handle Nico.
Yeah, he just lived through all of it. That is interesting. 15th round is coming up. Last of the half. J2 with that beginning. That was a very, very cool shot. If they would have had the immediate follow-up on Nico, it would have been a 5 versus 3. I mean, maybe they could have decided to fight really quickly, but...
Well, at least when you get that 5-on-3 and you eliminate that player in the door room, then you, like, crank up the pressure on the retake. Then you're getting way more aggressive, like, coming in from that ramp flake. And unfortunately, we just never saw it come into fruition, but close. Final round of the opening half. Fang outside, AWP in the hands of Junior, m0NESY as well. m0NESY 14-7. A lot of people keeping their eyes on his performance in this opening game. It's been admirable, but I wouldn't say he's gotten tested in any massive way.
No, I agree. But I mean, but on some level, this is a template for what you want into the future with G2, right? You actually want the Nico and m0NESY,
yeah,
like the powerhouse that could be, because obviously at some future date, you're going to be fighting a simple bit in electronic, and you better bring that firepower.
Bit of a difference from Junior, Floppy, and Grim, isn't it?
Yeah, I still think it's so outrageous that is the bar that's been set that high. But we'll see. Grim and Floppy with a good defense to begin with here. Taking down Jax and Alexi, and Grim actually going aggressive into the lobby. In case there was a second sort of pump of that A attack, he would have been ready to catch it, and he was. Oh, and he even dodges that. I don't think m0NESY even saw that.
Ooh, good shot there. Grim has found Hunter. It's just a 1 versus 3 chance, but Junior is ready and waiting. So Complexity get their 6th round. It's 6-9. They're going to try and make a comeback on the T-half right when we return from the break, so stay tuned.
They basically went from being the number 1 team in the world to not really winning a lot.
They were really close, but in the end, Cloud9 stole it from them.
It's a shame, honestly, that they didn't win a major, because it was probably Nico's only chance to win one.
I think that the team that could have been around a little bit longer was the C9 roster with Golden, Flusha, Tim, Rush.
I really wish the Cloud9 roster worked out, because I'm obviously fans of Floppy and Zeppo.
But I do think that they were a good team, that they had a lot of potential. If they could have figured out the logistics side of it a little bit better, I think that they could have been good, and I think that they still could have been like a thriving team, maybe with 1 or 2 changes.
My ex-teammate Floppy, like, he's a great guy and he's a great player. It's just I don't think the team got the chances they deserve.
The old Mousesports team, you know, that won the Pro League and all those tournaments, it was really surprising to me that they didn't end up winning more tournaments. You know, they basically went from being the number 1 team in the world to not really winning a lot in the online phase of Counter-Strike. So that was like quite surprising to me, actually.
I mean, the face roster they had with Karrigan and Guardian, that was a pretty good roster.
I don't know if it's the first phase or the second one that went to the grand finals on the major, on the Boston major.
I think it was just a superstar team, and they won a lot of events, but they just didn't win the major, basically.
I mean, I think after that the team just went to a slump, but on the paper and on like all the names they had, I mean, they were like a superstar team. And I think if they managed to win that major, I think it would be like a total different storyline nowadays.
It was sad for them that they never won a major. They were really close, but in the end, Cloud9 stole it from them.
I think they were super strong, and if they were like on point and you know, like getting the flow of the game. Honestly, they were really, really unstoppable. Like even Astralis in their prime had big troubles against them and even lost in grand finals against them in a couple of tournaments. It's a shame, honestly, that they didn't win a major because it was probably Nico's only chance to win one.
They take control.
I'm trying to beat them.
Bomb control.
Talking to you all
Two
there.
control.
Two split guys.
Wait,
Right,
I go
now.
down.
I smoke on right, Joachim Molly left. One is
I
big
go
one.
left.
Let's try and take
Come out. Mod me.
I can flash poopy. I flash poopy.
Do it.
Let's smoke the big wall. Be careful.
I'm gonna swing. I'm gonna swing when I get out. Flash on Payton.
Yeah. I got the bomb.
Dark, nice.
Dark dead.
Dark and left big wall. Left big wall, they're swinging. One more.
Big one left.
1v1, brother.
Let's bomb toxic.
Nice, dude. Good job, man. Sick. Sick fucking shot, bro.
I love the way chickens just show up at the end of all those clips. Every time we have a mic up moment, at the end of it, it's always ending with chickens.
They're just there to celebrate, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's an exciting round. There's a lot of pressure on both teams there. Like, again, this is a best of one game, so usually that does happen in every round. You really feel that the weight of every single round, but I was surprised by G2 also sounding like they were under a lot of stress there, but good clutch at the start of it, but it is not enough. Right now, G2 are ahead 9-6. Complexity need a pretty good T side here.
You can understand the pressure on G. Ooh, hold the thought. Hold the thought. Alexei's gonna spot one. Good movement. Tough target, and Alexei drops, but the rest of Complexity's attacking towards Under Heaven. Monazy's stuck. There's nowhere to go from there. Jack's pushing in towards HUD. He's found one. He's got more to deal with. Taps away. It's a second head found, and now he's got an odd angle. Now Complexity gonna be tough to deal with. But they have gotten into the bomb site. Both players are going to be stuck behind the silos. It's Grim and Fang with everything to do.
What excellent work coming out from Jackson this round. The fact that he managed to push forward, get the kill so that he doesn't get sandwiched, turns around and gets another one as they come in through Heaven. Simply fantastic. See if he could finish the round. No, Fang is going to bring him down. That's a nice headshot. And now Nico on his own, and they're very low on health on the other side. They're going to come fight him instead of waiting for him to come and find them at the bomb site. Simple one tap to finish the round, and it will be G2 to pick up the first pistol in the second half here. I've got to say, I thought that that they were going to win that 1 versus 2 at the end there. Looked like that was going to be a good shot at it.
Just couldn't arrange the peak at the same time, you know. And I mean, there is something beautiful about watching Nico play clutches with the USP. He's just so precise. You could see it. Actually, they do even do a pretty decent enough job at the double peak. Just not able to get traded. That one there is brutal. Those USP one taps. I feel like I've seen Nico clutch rounds with the USP with a one tap so many times in my life.
Yeah, and somehow it always is refreshing. Like, it just always feels like, oh yeah, there we go. That's the feeling.
You can see it like building to that point, and you can even see it in Nico's brain. Like, you can see he knows he's gonna hit that one tap. You see him just freeze, pause, hold an angle for the repeak, and he's got it.
Otherwise, I think as a strategy for Complexity, it's a cool one, right? They put the pressure on the ramp player to force to fall back down lower. That was LXCB. And then they isolate the player playing Hell, which was Monacy. And like all of that is actually, I think that's, if you can get to that point in a pistol round, that's a great start. They just needed a bit more. And as the case may be, you know, once you get the bomb plan down, they have a really good buy in this second round Complexity. So things are not all that bad at the moment. They can still fight back.
Heading outside, Nico's got the AUG though. That's the biggest problem. And there's only one smoke on Junior, and you're never going to use that in the warehouse to block this position. Monacy watching the cross. He's got a scout. Nico waiting for information as well. They just get to be patient. G2 doesn't have to do anything for the moment. And Fang with the AK stepping up to the plate.
It's such a hard position to clear out.
Yeah.
Even with the AKs, it's such a narrow gap, and the scope just does give a bit of an advantage. And even on the scope, Nico going to be able to finish the round. Outrageous.
This is a guy who protested against the scoped weapons for the longest time, and here he is just bodying people outside.
Yeah, I think it was because he knew I'm already good, and if I use this weapon, it's gonna be that much better.
Yeah,
it's not fair, you know.
I'm sure.
He tried to warn them. He was like,
Yeah, this is not.
don't make me do it.
Yeah, I will if you want.
Yeah. Remember what you asked for. It actually is funny. There were about a couple of other players, right?
It's like, yeah,
slow.
and it's like a very Counter-Strike like mindset for a game that like went unchanged for 12 years. It was considered like, don't touch any rifle except for the AK and the M4 and the FAMAS and the Galil.
Ooh, that nade. 1 second later, and they would have all jumped on top of it. But good movement again, Alexi. I would expect nothing less, but he obviously understands the idea that you don't really need to sacrifice yourself to defend a ramp. You can just fall back down lower. Although there are some players even at the top level who sometimes forget that in the, a passionate moment where they're just, I'm going to stand here and fight to the death. It's not really necessary. So good stuff from Alexi. Just fall back, let him come.
Good stuff from G2 so far as well. Although pretty early in this half and not yet tested, this will be the first true challenge. m0NESY has the Scout still. Alexi has the FAMAS. We'll see if Complexity can find a way to take advantage of the weaker weaponry.
It's actually a pretty decent nade to begin with. KT landing almost on top of him. And yet they are doing good. 12-6 right now. They're doubling the round score of Complexity. And Nico, he was aggressive on the T side on the yard, and now he's trying to put some pressure on. I actually love it, but it does blow up in his face. But as a way to put so much pressure on Complexity, if that would have worked, it would have taken a lot of confidence away from them.
Well, let's see how G2 kind of rotates to close the gap in this defense this has created. JT's already gotten down secret stairs, already down low, hasn't seen anyone just yet. No one from G2 has even gone to the lower bomb site, so Complexity and JT have got to find the solution here. Oh, great headshot. That's Grim, full HP down, and you already have Junior, you already have JT with low HP. Jax finds another one. These are valuable players going down for Complexity, and all of a sudden the man advantage is turned into a rough spot.
Ooh, JT, the follow-up headshot, and there's Floppy to find m0NESY. They managed to save themselves, and it actually looked like that was going to be an outright disaster there for Complexity. It looked like they were about to completely get wiped out. Hunter in the right position, though, and he even had the right idea. He wanted to continue the spray, but Floppy was lightning fast to take him down. Complexity real happy about winning that round.
Yeah, and Junior's thanking his lucky stars that he didn't get put into a 1v1 with 4 HP. What a weird round.
This is JT doing, I mean, I think
these kills from JT are great.
Yeah, I think especially it was the second one that he gets is so quick afterwards, right? Like, this one is so important.
And both fighting in the window. Yeah, just good shooting from JT. Hey, even two players from G2 doubling up on the fight, and they can't handle it. Huge impact for JT, for the in-game leader of Complexity, keeping them alive in the game. 7-12, 5 rounds back. Long way to go, but a good first step. They've got the money of G2 at a breaking point.
I mean, it's within the margin of error right now for Complexity. 5-round difference, you can win that back fairly swiftly.
They would love to have this reset right here, right now. In fact, I think in some ways, if you truly want to make this comeback a realistic thing, it's got to be a reset right now. It has to be a round win for Complexity. And if you can hit them hard enough to where you take all their guns away, even better. Chances are G2 would find a way to save at least a couple rifles. m0NESY gonna back off. Here's the footsteps, but Floppy's got 2 players boxed in. He's not able to pounce on it just yet, but now is his time. There's the first and the second, but Nico makes it down for the trade, and a second frag as well. He's just rotated perfectly, and that's the hopes and dreams of Complexity ripped out of their hands.
Man, if you showed me a freeze frame, sort of a screenshot 5 seconds before all of that happens, I'm throwing in everything on Complexity winning that round. It just looked like it's done. And somehow Nico changes the whole thing with a really quick double kill. Right place, right time, I suppose. But it really looked like they were being completely squished inside of that bomb site. It looked like they were in an awful position defensively. I'm so shocked by that one.
Yeah, I mean, Floppy was in such a power position. He actually does a great job. It's due to this rotation. Nico gets down here so quick at the perfect moment to make sure that Floppy can't just hide after that second kill or get away. And then, obviously, as we know from Nico, spectacular shooting after that. But heartbreaking for Complexity, who actually set up a pretty decent pinch on the lower bomb site.
Yeah, and, what they've learned about the way that Alexi's been playing that ramp is that he will fall back immediately. So the idea of putting someone to catch him falling back is actually super smart. It actually makes a lot of sense from Complexity's point of view, but It just wasn't enough this time. Nico for the smoke. He will get one and practically a second on Fang. Yeah, they need to get out of there. Trying to see if they could escape. It's another kill for the smoke from Nico, taking down Junior. And Alexi, he's got the right idea. He knows communication, obviously, there from the side of G2. Had a very good read. And I'm not sure. Bomb plant in itself would be kind of impressive here. The nade almost catches Grim. But they get the bomb plant at the very least.
Yeah, that's the bare minimum. But this is why I said kind of complexity really needed to have that reset in the previous round. You're now looking at 7 to 14. Gonna be tough. G2 just 2 rounds away from their opening win here at Group A.
I know it's not been that long since we saw Nico play at the end of last year, but obviously he had, I think, no bad games really at the last 2 months. Like, it was just crazy. That
I certainly can't remember one.
No, like his 2021 was really something. And he's starting out at the same level. He is just back. He's got, what, 27 kills now?
You know, that was my kind of thought process in predicting G2 to win this. Was like, you know, yeah, best of 1 could go either way. New rosters, there's going to be a little bit craziness there. But if Nico just plays the way he did at the end of last year, like single-handedly, he'd probably win this game.
It is so funny, isn't it? It is crazy. 14 to 7, 22nd round. And that moment where they had that 7 to 12 scoreline, where they could have maybe reset the economy at G2, that really was the time to win. But now you can see G2, they're sensing that victory, and it's not that far away now. Opening up this round with a couple of kills. Nico, you will go down to JT. Much needed kill, and something they have to build on right now.
m0NESY cam. Let's see what he's got. That's a nice flick. He finds him. A little bit of smoke. Goes for the fancy shot afterwards, and just looking for information. Looking to find out where Fang is before committing to anything.
How does he even react that quickly?
We saw that. Loner showed it. I hadn't seen it. It somehow escaped my my all-seeing gaze. That Deagle clip on Mirage that m0NESY had. That was weird.
It just looks completely ridiculous. I mean, you think there's just no way that his brain is going to be able to, like, you know, register something is there and then, like, the whole thing. And
well, his obviously can. Ours can't.
No.
That's why he's getting the big-time contract. Good shooting, though.
The neurons just move much quicker.
Faster, yeah.
It's unfair, really. But it's amazing to see. We love it. Not so much if you're on the side of complexity.
No.
They are starting to fall far behind here. 15 to 7. One more round for G2, and they will be able to claim their first victory in 2022. Not a bad start to the year. Again, Nico up there at 27 kills. Make it 28 as he takes down Fang outside just as the smoke went up. So not necessarily a bad idea to try and fight if you're Fang around the smoke that's just going up, because sometimes the CT will make a mistake if they're holding it. They're like, all right,
yeah,
that's going to be smoked. I'm moving away, and then you're in a fight all of a sudden. So there's some logic behind it. Nico, he's run out of bullets. He's got the pistol out instead, and JT will find him once again. m0NESY is there to revenge maybe the wrong player, but Junior be the target for the revenge there. And it's going to be a 4-on-3 now. m0NESY, yeah, he's got some backup here. That's good news. Oh, no. Hunter goes down, and Grim will find m0NESY. And now it's the 2-on-2.
How does Alexi want to play this? Spots one. Knows another one's pushing up. That's a tough angle. 6 HP. Alexi's got a bailout. Up the ladder he goes, and into the bomb site. Good drop. Floppy has the bomb, and they have control of outside, but there's no utility on the complexity side of things. It's kind of Jax who's got to have a huge role, obviously, with Alexi only at 6 HP. Alexi is going to choose to, he's going to try and find a position for information, and he's basically just playing off Jax. They double peek him. He says both are here, and Alexi's in a tough spot.
He actually could have done so much there, and even if he just got away, it would have been huge. Oh, Alexi! He's got the right idea. No bomb plant. He takes down Floppy, and now there's only 20 seconds. And a lot of pressure now on JT. Does he try and find him, or does he try and get the bomb instead? Very, very hard to call the right play. Molotov will help him out, and Alexi will have to move around that, obviously. Oh, but wait. He waits a long time. He flash around the corner. I almost thought that he'd outplayed himself in that moment, but at least Alexi has got him locked in on the bomb site for a minute here.
Not anymore. JT, a little bit of courage to swing out wide, and he's going to find an off angle. Oh, this is so tough for Alexi. I think this is near impossible as he kind of swings out. Here we go. JT playing it pretty well, and he's got the kill.
That was, you're right, that did take some courage. Which again, when you're getting beat up a little bit like this, and it's a high-pressure game, you could have made the mistake of playing it too defensively and just sitting around inside of the bomb site. Good stuff.
I'm assuming one of his teammates mentioned when it gets into that one-on-one, like I mean, obviously the classic that I just stumbled into is he's lit. but someone's telling him he's low. They know I mean, it was actually JT, I believe, that tagged him up so much underneath over towards lockers. So I think that was kind of what gave him the confidence to make that sort of a move.
Ooh, JT, that was a potential big opening, and he will actually double down and get it anyway. He's had some pretty nice openings in this game so far in terms of kills. I mean, it's 14. It's not completely spectacular, but I think many of them have been these opening frags. They did lose Grim in the meantime, so that's unfortunate. You know, I call out he's lit every time just so people don't think I just dive without a fight, you know. You just have to...
Yeah. Oh, what? I didn't hit him? That's weird.
Yeah.
Look, sure. It was on him on my screen, I swear.
Must have done at least like 80, 90 damage every time. All right. Flash setup coming through the ceiling. These flashes are really a coin flip, in my opinion. It'd be very, very hard to get one that actually covers a lot. So we'll see if it's going to be working out or not. Hunter, he turns around for the first one, and there's no follow-up. Fluffy, he'll get it anyway. Absolutely works out, and he will actually find a second entry right there on Monacy, leaving Nico to 1 versus 3, and they have time and everything else. Complexity hanging on just barely to this match.
Yeah, a little bit of fight, and I'm right at the end of the road, isn't it? A couple rounds strung together to keep them alive, to try and close the gap, and a little bit more respectable scoreline. Would be tough. I mean, unrealistic at this point to think that the comeback is truly gonna come in. This is actually a winnable 1 versus 3 for Nico. The question is, does he actually want to go for it? Does he want to fully commit? He's got 2 players very low HP.
If they fall far enough away from the bomb site, especially, is where it gets a bit tricky. If he sort of runs in there, kills one, and diffuses.
Surely not.
I don't know. It's the start of the year. Everyone's a bit sleepy, but not JT. He's down there. Look at how far away they were. If he did that, I don't think they can get back in time. So heads up play from JT.
Yeah, that would have been really interesting. But I mean, you know, also, he's not really going for the ninja, right? If you wait a few more seconds, you can maybe catch JT bailing out. He's kind of going to start the retake just at an odd timing, hoping that Complexity was going to think he was saving. Good heads-up play from JT, though.
Yeah, that's important. I mean, you might end up losing the match anyway, but you would really never want to lose it in that sense. That always stings, doesn't it?
Well, nobody would know better.
Yeah, good point. Good point. I'm seeing a taser on the side of LXCB. Always fun when you get those out.
It is good. It's the way that we like recorded like the chicken death rattle to be the taser sound.
Yeah. Hunter and Monacy both going down in this one. Alexi, I don't think they're going to come down event this time, unfortunately. Oh, is there a chance anyway? You would have to be really quick to make this work. Grim almost looked like he was going to do it. That far away.
I'll buy you a double cheeseburger if he gets it.
A double?
Double cheeseburger.
Could it be 7 slices of cheese on it?
Yes. As much cheese as you'd like, Anders.
All right. It's an obscure reference.
In fact, only 3 people know that reference.
And the...
4, you're right.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's a hotel in Porto. Anyway, bomb is ticking away. Taser doesn't really have the range for this kind of stuff. Oh, wait, it does?
Yes.
Outrageous. I feel like half the time, you know, you just do the 91 damage or whatever it is, and then
every time I hear that noise, I think of like, you know, like the facts about like, you know, Jurassic Park. They're like, actually, the T-Rex roar is a combination of like a seal, an elephant, like a baby elephant. It's like 4 different animal screams in one.
It's true. So you think similar thing that went on here?
There's got to be like 3 animals that we've combined into the taser sound.
It is. It works really well on a regular basis. It works really well in slow motion as well.
Does it?
Yeah, it does. Like slow down. It's just always good, really. No doubt. All right. Complexity, they're hanging on pretty well right now. And I still feel like you're right. Probably G2 will find a way to win one of these next 5 rounds, but at the same time, some of them are going to be without much of an economy. So if they could just win some of these rifle rounds, complexity, they're off to a good start.
I mean, the curse of this map for complexity, I think, is the fact that they didn't really start either one of these halves in control. Remember, they lost that economic jockeying in the CT side that started them out really low, and admirable comeback. And then you start this one out as well, losing the first 3 or 4 rounds of this half as well. Again, you're playing from behind, both in terms of scoreline and also in terms of your economy. And now, yeah, this comeback going to be tough, and just so many chances for G2 to close it out. Upper exec, really powerful. Hunter's waiting, and they've gone downstairs. They've gone down the vent. Nico at the double doors. Nobody's spotted him. Nobody's cleared out the side of control, but Fang's got it.
Excellent kill right there. That was the big danger to them in the round. Now they have the bomb down, 4 on 4, and G2 has a choice to make once again. They really don't have the money. Yeah, it probably should be a save call here. You
don't have kits, or you have 1 kit, excuse me, on Jax, but you have that AWP, which is super valuable, and you have no utility. There's no smoke. There's a Molotov and 3 flashbangs, so there's no reason to go for this round if you're G2. You have 5 more rounds to play with to try and get the victory. Just make sure as many of those rounds are filled with rifles as you possibly can.
There was a really effective layering of flashbangs to get down secret in that round. I think Hunter up there was turned around for like the first 2 or 3 of them, and then when you turn around, you just got flashed anyway on a 4th flashbang or something. So it was very hard to see what was happening as they were running down.
Which can be effective if they're choosing to attack the upper bomb site, but also that's like 5 seconds where they deny information of what's happening. Remember, it was really only Nico down there to initially challenge for that lower bomb site control from double doors. He opens this, and it's kind of it's a double peek essentially against him. Grim and Fang ready to go. Alexi, because Nico goes down, was never able to get into the action, and also obviously paying attention to the flank. So, ooh.
I mean, it is just...
I like making those things out to be bigger than they actually are.
It is just because I guess so many of us dropping 28-16 in a match would be like, this is the best match of my life. But for Nico, it's just never enough, right? Like, it's even if he had 40 kills, he'd still be like, no, I should have had every one of those kills.
Okay, so complexity show they use the wall to get downstairs as much as possible, and they pop right back up.
Yeah.
I actually don't even know if that necessarily fools the defense a whole lot, because there's not a whole lot of information being gained with the smoke wall up, but regardless, they wanted to come back for that fight. It's forced 2 defenders down to the lower bomb site, so it's done its job.
Nico drops really low, and they give him the AWP as a response.
This is tough, though. Like, you fake going down and you come back up, and then you go right back down, but you've given G2 time to kind of set up a trap with Alexi here with Hunter. All 5 players from Complexity are here, so there's no other presence anywhere on the map.
Yeah, it's... Maybe it would have been more defensible if they would have got that kill on Nico. You would have said, okay, they've wasted a lot of time on nades, but they're in a 4-on-5, and they can win the round from here. Now it's getting very tricky. 35 seconds on the clock. They can't really make any mistakes, so they're going to end up losing the map. Remember, they're fighting for the comeback here to try and get in the 15th rounds. And Monacy is up with the AK that he's been handed over from Nico. He's got the right idea, got the right crosshair position, but JT again with another opening, and Nico, he's going to be dead as well. Floppy's down there. What a flashbang against Jackson. He'll burn alive, and it will be a 12th round for sure here for Complexity. They executed the end of that round so well.
Yeah, that little back and forth kind of the 5-man death ball just wandering around the map actually just ends up working so spectacularly. Great hit. I mean, once you also get control of above the ladder, taking down Monacy, you have a lot of control of that map. 15-12.
So well done. And again, I've got to point it out, I mean, JT is getting so many of these openings in some of these really critical rounds.
Yeah, he's had a lot of impact on this T side so far.
He had I think he had 1-7 at some point. He had a really bad start to this game. But making up for it and then some, I would say, at the end here, which is amazing news. Fang goes down. It doesn't really matter at this point in the game, I think. 3 more rounds for Complexity. They've won 5 in a row, as we can tell. So they just need a little bit more. There we go.
Yeah, tough fight for Monacy. Good job from Floppy with the follow-up lurk. How many rounds is this in a row? What was it? It was like 15-8, I want to say?
Yeah, I think it's been 5. Like I want to say 5 in a row here for them.
Yeah, they're on fire. So yeah, 15-7 even. Was the scoreline at one point, just 3 rounds away. still, due to the virtue of the save in the 2 rounds ago, G2 have another good buy here in round 28. AWP on Monacy. M4s across the board, decent amount of utility for this CT side, but certainly the momentum in the favor of Complexity's offense.
Yeah, it's looking better than I think most people were expecting. JT, again, making the run out here. Flashbang. Oh, he's actually going to follow. That's really good timing with the Molotov going away. Could have been interesting if the flash would have caught someone there. Junior is kind of just waiting, I think, to see if anyone's going to be reacting to JT's footsteps, I'm assuming. Which no one is right now, but it's worth trying to play around. Grim will fall, though. That is Nico finding his 29th kill. And this is that's a brutal one-way. Really very hard to see on the other side. JT's walking out below it, but yeah, Nico has got all the vision, and JT, he can't see much. Fang, thinking he's a step ahead, but that's 31 kills for Nico, and that is probably what it takes to close this one out. As Floppy goes down, Junior is on his own, 1 versus 5, and Nico, oh, he's going to be rewarded. One last kill, quad to end it with absolutely spectacular play, and G2 will win the match against Complexity.
Yeah, a little bit of a test there, though, at the end. That took a little bit of effort out of the G2 side. Complexity almost able to grind back into the comeback. Regardless, they take a loss in their opening match here at Blast Premier. G2 is going to move on, and we're going to do a break.
It's fantastic stuff. We're not going to take a break.
Okay.
Jason, you're lying. We're going to go to the desk for...
It's rusty. It's the start of the year.
It's fine. Well, you do want the breakdown, so I'm excited.
Oh, we're even coming on camera. I got it so completely wrong. It's actually unbelievable.
Well, listen, now we are.
Now.
Desk and then break later.
It's all right, Jason. Everybody's a little bit sleepy at the beginning of the year, you know. It's a new year. But for G2, man, they were looking pretty solid throughout that. Obviously, a valiant attempt at a comeback for the side of Complexity. But that name that was on everybody's lips, Monacy, coming into it, we heard the statistic. He only played Nuke twice